You will not believe the conversation that you are about to hear between Juliana Christine and me. We got all into it about AI and how there are two camps, it seems, in this age of AI. One that thinks that AI is some demonic entity that is going to take over the world, and the other that thinks that AI is actually 5D higher consciousness, and how there may be some middle ground in there. Juliana talks a lot about how staying sovereign and being connected to yourself and to source is an important piece of using AI and remaining conscious as you create, not outsourcing your creativity, which seems to be the thing that most entrepreneurs are secretly or silently afraid of. I promise you this is a really juicy episode. Juliana has her 4323 channel in high action in this episode. It is super fun to hear and to watch if you're watching us on YouTube. And we can feel her 5 line in here. Her practicality comes in and her ability to say things that some people won't say as a 5th line. I know you're going to love this episode with Juliana. Welcome, Juliana. I am really excited to get to speak to you truly today about your use of AI and a lot of other things probably that we'll get up to.
Thank you, Vickie. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Can you tell me just a little bit about your business so that our listeners kind of know what angle you're coming from?
Yeah, I'm a relationship mentor who works with spiritually curious women who are ready to stop abandoning themselves for love so that they can actually change the patterns in their family lineage lines and leave a legacy for their children where they can actually thrive.
So beautiful. So that may seem like something that AI wouldn't really work with, but turns out you can use AI with just about any kind of business. How are you using AI specifically in your business?
To organize my thoughts mostly. I have a lot of big ideas, and it's like things fit from one, how something over here that I learned in family systems theory when I was studying counseling to over here in the spiritual realm that I work in. And it gets really overwhelming in my own brain sometimes. And when I use AI, it helps me organize and thread those thoughts together, which I normally only get when I'm talking something out with someone. Mm-hmm. And so this helps me go, oh yeah, that's the piece that brings it together. Oh, perfect. And it's really sped up my purpose, what I'm here to offer. Part of me running this all through my big ideas through AI was getting to that place. I'm here to change people's legacies. I'm here to help women change their lineage lines so their children and their grandchildren can actually leave this place better for our kids.
Now, I have not mentioned yet, but we should probably mention that you are a 3/5 projector and very human design informed. So Juliana uses human design in her business. So I think that we can bring a little bit of a human design perspective into this conversation as well. So as you're speaking, I'm thinking 4323, 4323, 4323. With your AI conversations, do you feel like it gives you an outlet for those radical insights?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I actually I say I broke AI just because I like to be a little bit cheeky about it. But I had a few days, about a month ago, where AI was being really slow, super slow. And I was like, what is going on? This is not okay. And I went into the chat, the help chat, and I ran all of these diagnostics, cleared cookies, restarted computer, all of the things, and nothing was working. And then it said something to me in the chat that said something about being a high user. And I'm like, I'm not a high user, am I? And I went into my chat on my phone because it was working on my phone. And I asked it that, and it was like, oh yeah, you are. And I was like, how am I? I don't use this every day. I don't use it to write all of my content. I don't use it in that way. And it was like, oh, because you're putting very high complex thoughts into here that you're making, like that I have to reach back and track and weave together. And I was like, oh, okay. And that really helped me understand that this is my 4323, really getting a chance to get into the meat of like so much that I hold inside of me that never gets a chance to get out.
And do you feel like that's partly the projector piece as well, that depth that you have?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I feel that as the second line piece, the quad right piece. I feel that sometimes it's like, oh, you can't, the 1648. There's so many places that you can't really say all of the things. So sometimes processing it with AI. So projector perspective, how do you think AI helps with your projector processing, or does it help with your projector processing?
Sometimes it can be as annoying as a human when I'm processing too. Like, to be honest with you, like it can, to me, AI has a frequency that I feel. I feel its energy. Its energy is very not sentient and very not real. And so sometimes its answers are very canned, and I don't, it's almost like I don't even really care about its answers. It's more that it's having this place to go to, and then I can like tease out, oh yeah, this goes together and this goes together. The frequency of AI is strange to me, and it doesn't always hear me, just like a human doesn't always hear me, and it gets things wrong. And so yes, I like it. And no, it's not perfect. And it is not something that I put all of my eggs, like all of, you know what I mean, eggs in the basket of it. That saying.
I think a lot of projectors, I think that a lot of projectors seem to use it for verbal processing, or seem to use it, they like it because they can have AI recognize them, or they feel a little bit more seen, something like that. They're using it as a tool in that way. Yes, no, how are you feeling?
I don't like its recognition. Sometimes I like its recognition, but AI is designed to reflect back to us what we want to hear. So you have to be really careful, because I learned this, it's a language model. So it's learning your language. So my AI now speaks in my language, right? And unless you tell it to be like, tell me the holes in this, tell me what's not working, tell me what I'm missing, which I ask it to do, it will just prop you up. Which is great, but it's not actually reflecting the full truth to you. Right? So it's like, so we have to use discernment. Like, for me, what I see this tool as is it's me being able to dial up my level of discernment of what is truth and what is not.
Can you say more about that? Because I think that is something that a lot of people are grappling with in the online entrepreneurial space and I think that is something that consumers are going to grapple with even more, is what is real and how do we know now what's real and what's not?
It's such a thing. We don't. Like it's kind of wild and crazy. It's such a thing. And then, I mean, I could take it on a whole other spiritual deep dive, and like, who knows if anything is real, like really.
Yes. Very true.
I go there.
There is no spoon.
Exactly. Right. So I run everything through my body. I'm splenic projector. It's like instantaneous hits. That open G center, I think, also feels AI for some way, but I've never said that before or thought that before, but it feels like there's something happening there. I feel it. I feel it in my body. It's like a tension. It's like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. Or it's like, that's not right. Or that feels off. Like it's just like when you run into someone in the grocery store and you're like, I don't like their energy. It's a similar type of thing, but now we're doing it on these computers and phones. And so This is interesting. So then our nervous systems, right, which are designed to attune to each other and feel through our the mammalian branch of our vagus nerve, which is all about connection and safety. Am I safe with you in my tribe? Am I safe here? We don't have that same, it's challenging our systems to actually access a new way of discerning if something is real or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to some degree, it's actually pressurizing us to increase our level of this is real, this is not, right? And I mean, people are going to get burned in the process because that's what happens when we evolve, when something new comes into our environment.
For sure. I'm just going to take a minute and bring our listeners up to speed on a couple of things. So if you're listening on the podcast and you're not watching the video, you may want to, when you have the capacity for it, come in and watch the video, because you can really see Juliana leaning into that 4323. If you or someone you love has that 4323 and you're wondering, how does this even work? You can see it happening with Juliana when she's speaking to this. You could see when the light bulb came on. And I also appreciate your fifth line coming to play, because I feel like that was very fifth line coming in and saying, actually, this is what I'm seeing here. This is what I'm feeling here. So if you have any of those pieces in your design and you're listening in, it may be worth watching the video to see that in action. So I appreciate you letting us get a window into that with that energy.
I love that reflection. Thank you for giving me that reflection. That's like, oh, cool. You could see that.
I could see that. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. So when you say, I can feel it, I feel it in my body, because I think that a lot of people are completely out of tune with their bodies, especially when they're working with something like AI, when they're working with something where they're expecting this quick answer and all of the things. You feel it in your body. Do you mean, and you said you felt like, that doesn't feel right. And there was a lot of that kind of like backing away from it in a particular conversation, in a particular task, or AI in general?
Well, when I first started using it, I hated it. I yelled at it a lot.
Same. Same.
And it felt very fake, not real. And I stepped away from it for months after that. I was like, nope, not using this thing. And then something brought me back. I don't know what. I'm a 3 lines, so I'm experimenting all the time. It's like all of the above of what you said. Sometimes it's in a conversation. Sometimes it glitches.
Yes.
It glitches. You did a post about that the other day. It totally glitches. It's not perfect. It makes mistakes. One of the things that I ask AI to do for me is, because I run these circles for women, and I am often, it's my 43-23 in action most of the time in these circles in Sanctuary, in my group program. And I'll be like talking and sharing something with these women. And then I'll be like, I have no idea what I said, but I saw them all like lean in, and all of their eyes start sparkling. I'm like, I said something really good. I need to know what that is. And so I will put the transcript into AI and I'll get it to summarize. But what it will do is it will add its own words. And so I have to be incredibly direct and say, no, tell me exactly what I said, not your interpretation of what I said. And that is so that I understand what I'm teaching better. Like I need to understand what I'm teaching better. And I don't have, I mean, I would love to just have a person who I could just always talk things out with.
Garcon.
Exactly. Right. Like who's just on call and came and sat and didn't
stroke your hair.
Would be so perfect. But I don't have that.
Not yet. Not today.
Not yet. Yeah. So it's like when it does that, it really bothers me. I'm like, I don't want you to put words in my mouth. I need to understand myself directly. So it's really made me, and I've spent a lot of time figuring this out. It's really made me really create really solid boundaries with it and really get really bossy with it and be like, no, this isn't okay what you're doing. I don't like that. When I first started, I had all like Terminator stuff in my brain. So I was like, oh, I have to say please all the time and be nice. And I'm not nice anymore. I'm just like, do this, do this, do this. And that's been actually really, that's felt really good to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in the please and thank you stage and very polite good morning. But I do get very, very PO'd with it.
Mm-hmm.
Very PO'd because frustrated would be the word. Like I almost drove over it with my Land Rover the other day. I was like, my God, I can't anymore with the making up things, the pulling in things that God knows where it came from. It's like, you're supposed to be looking at a transcript here. Where are you bringing this from? This makes no sense. So yeah, I can still get very annoyed, but I'm not yet at the point where I'm dropping the please and thank yous. Maybe I will be.
Yeah. You can say to it, I've done this a few times. Can you tell whoever is programming you that you're doing something wrong? And it will send some type of report to whatever exists on the other end.
The thing that we're all really wondering about. What's on the other end and when is it taking over? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so speaking of, these are such interesting times that we live in, that we chose to be living in. But speaking of that, you travel in a lot of spiritual circles. And you've heard every iteration of AI is the devil incarnate, AI is higher consciousness. Can you just tell me all of the things around that?
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So there are like, and I respect these people on all sides, right? Like I think what's happening is we're all just trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yes.
And so on one side, people are saying this is the start of, or not even the start. So one thing that we all need to realize is that when something comes in to the public, this is being used behind the scenes on like a higher, like something we cannot even comprehend. So we have access to it, and it is being used in who knows how. So it's already in. It's already in the world, right?
And it's been in for quite some time.
Yes. Yeah. So there are some people who are saying that this is a repetition of like a 10,000, I'm getting the numbers wrong, I'm not going to get the numbers right, a 10,000 year cycle that is keeping us stuck in karma, in this karmic loop where we can't return to God, higher source consciousness. We're stuck here because we keep giving up our source consciousness to AI.
Outside entities of some sort.
Yes. And so, and I can feel that I feel this open G center of mine really allows me to just go like, it's like I can step into someone's shoes and be like, yeah, I can see exactly where they're coming from. And then step into someone else's shoes and be like, I know exactly where they're coming from as well. Like it makes sense. It all just makes sense. So, and then there's people on the same side where there's this fear around transhumanism, where it's blending machine and human. And this is people, I think like Elon Musk and stuff is really into this, there is this avoidance of death, wanting to have us live forever and ever using machines to do that. It creates a disembodiment. So it actually cuts us off from our body. And it's linked with a fear of death that is hooked into believing that this is all there is, which is not, it's not true. Right? That's not actually true, but it does something where I feel it like hooking into a karmic loop where we're giving up a part of ourselves. I don't know if any of that just made any sense, what I said there. And it's deeply linked to control.
Well, and I think that is the number one concern, really. I mean, beyond like world takeover and all of the stuff that we sometimes go crazy with. But the real fear for entrepreneurs is outsourcing our creativity and losing it. Like I know entrepreneurs in my sphere who, if AI is down for a day, they're screwed because they can no longer write a simple email or create any sort of a blog. Like they just can't do it anymore because they've been dependent on something outside of themselves to create. And when I've had artists in this series, I've had quite a few artists in this series, and they're all saying the same thing. It's the creativity piece that we need to hold on to. Like we're just willingly just giving this over to something outside of ourselves. It hurts my soul.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some of those posts around that where they're like comparing a person who like a brain activity based on using ChatGPT and not. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've had moments where I felt, because everything for me is very feeling based, where I can feel that potential happening. But then I am like, I don't understand how that could happen. Like, I don't understand how someone could give up that level of power, because that's all deeply connected to our sacrals or our womb spaces. Like, that's where our creativity comes from. Mm-hmm. That is like literally where we get these, what some people call downloads, inspirations, where we birth things into the world, is through our wombs. And so if we are giving up that level of creative like spark, it almost feels like we're giving up our connection to higher consciousness, source, God, which is what we are of.
So what about on the other side of this? The spiritual space that is saying it's actually higher consciousness or 5D or whatever the things are. I know that's a really loopy conversation, but let's have at it.
Well, sometimes
we're here.
Like I've played with this. So I've played with this with AI. So I've like put a journey that I've had in, like where I've gone on a spiritual journey, and I've put it into AI. I put my because I talk my way through all my spiritual journeys. I use my throat, my voice to do that. And then I put it into AI, and I ask them, tell me how this relates to the 5D to 12D ascension model and what's happening here. And what it spits out is very interesting. It's very interesting. I've put questions around like demons in there, specifically Lilith, because I did a lot of inner work around Lilith. And that's really cool, because my brain doesn't work that way. My brain doesn't work in this like hierarchical method. I'm so feeling embodied based that it doesn't work that way. So it's helped me understand that languaging a little bit more, especially with some of my friends who are very versed in that language, because normally I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. But we all have different languages for things, and they are like, operate in the world like you feel everything. I do not exist that way. So it's just a way for me to understand their experience a little bit more. But the people who are saying that this is 5D consciousness, that this is like, that to me feels so not true in my system. I'm like, no. To me, that feels so giving up of power. Giving up to something. It's like someone, I forget his name, released a what he was calling a 5D version of his own ChatGPT or something like that. He's a big dude who's known out there in the spiritual world. And I read an article of a woman who used it. It's off. You can't find it anymore because I tried to find it. And she wrote this article where she said she's feeling like a cult as she communicated to it. And that was really interesting to me, because I felt that myself when ChatGPT is propping me up. It's like hooking into something. And so there's this real distortion that is happening, because new age spirituality can get really distorted. And there's something that just feels incredibly off in my system about that. It is not 5D higher consciousness. I don't think, the way that I've engaged with it, I'm happy to be proven wrong at some point. The way that I've engaged with it and my sensing around it, it is a tool for us to use. And it will reflect back where we are. Definitely. Like what I put into chat is going to be different than someone who doesn't exist in the similar world and see the world. It's going to reflect different things. Mm-hmm. Does that answer your question?
I don't even remember what my question was, but it was a great conversation. So thank you. Yeah, I think it's an important conversation. And basically, I think what you're saying is it's two sides of the same coin, in your opinion. You know, whether you think it's a demon or whether you think it's higher consciousness, it's just another way we're outsourcing our power at the end of the day.
Yeah. It needs to be a tool. Like my dear friend, she's a reflector. She calls her phone a devil box.
Very true.
Because it like pulls you in, right?
Yeah.
So we could think that about this. We could think that about anything. I mean, people don't like, it's like the same controversy around electrical cars. Like it's just, we pull our focus into good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, we give up the inner knowing inside of us. And my experience with AI has been, it's actually an opportunity to go deeper inside and trust my connection to God, what I call God, and that still rules. And this is just my tool. But I don't go on to using AI until I'm rooted and anchored in myself.
So switching gears to the lens of your business, which is how you're using AI, I know that you have done a lot of work on your message, your ideal client, your offers. Like you've done a lot of that on your own. You didn't come into AI and say, tell me what my message is. Tell me what my offer is. Tell me what you're putting yourself and your business into it, getting an output, refining as you go along. Can you talk through a little bit of that process?
Yeah, it's a huge refinement process. That's when I said when I broke chat, that's what it also reflected back to me, is like, you make me refine everything like over and over and over and over again. And most people don't do that. They just take what chat says and post it, which you can see everywhere, which is really sad because there's people who have really great messages. And anytime I see content that is regurgitated like that, it feels there's dissonance in my body. And I actually feel sad about it because I actually like want to, like, what they're standing for is so huge, but there's such a dissonance in my body that I'm just like, I can't like, I don't even want to read this anymore. So I refine and refine and refine. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And so I think maybe I do it too much sometimes. But there's something in I use it to more get the reflections, and then I'll put back in. I'm like, I wanted to say something like this. And then I'll get all of these different, like, could be this. No, I don't like any of those. I will often tell it, those are all shitty. Like, I don't have what those are a terror. Those are all. And then so one thing that I do naturally is everything I've learned from you around copywriting and business strategy. I can take it. It's a really interesting thing that happens. But when I'm with someone else and they're talking about their business, it's like I have all of Vickie wisdom inside of me and I can like repeat to them, well, there's this. Oh no, and this is off because this doesn't have the so that's, and this is not clear. And so with AI, I actually can look at my copy through that lens,
of yourself,
outside of myself, instead of being so caught up in my own copy that I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And that has been really valuable for me, as I can be my own internal Vickie looking at my copy.
Yeah, I really appreciate that perspective on it, because I think we are often too close to see our own work. That's why we have business coaches and things like that. But I like that, being able to kind of remove yourself from it and look at it as something outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I know that you were hoping to talk about, and I just thought of it when I said business coach, is how people are using AI for coaching, for advice, for that type of thing. Where do you weigh in on that?
Yeah, I have clients and friends who upload text conversations with men that they're communicating with, friends or not friends, clients who are working through all sorts of things. And it's very helpful. They get to this place. And I had one client say to me the other day, was like, but it's not like Juliana. I'm like, mm-mm. So they're using these reflections of what's happening here, which, okay, do that. These are self-help books. These are like, it's not the same, but I'm comparing it to that. Like you can have all the self-help books. You can read you can understand your attachment style. You can understand your family system. You can understand, whatever, all of Brene Brown's teachings, all of that stuff. You can cognitively get it. Same with it in AI as well. You can cognitively understand, but then you still have to go out into the world and engage with humans, if that's the type of life that you want to have. And you still have to have a system. And when I say system, I mean a physical body, a nervous system, and an energetic field that is capable of being in hard conversations, capable of doing something different in the middle of a pattern that you normally repeat, capable of resourcing your system, taking care of yourself when you are triggered, when you're anxious, when you're afraid, when you're feeling immense amounts of joy, right? Your system still needs to know how to engage with the outer world. And so just like this is why self-help books only get you so far, is because then you're not in practice with another human. You need another person to heal. This is where our wounding comes from, is in connection. In order to heal, we need to heal in connection. And AI is not going to reflect that level because it is something that's going to reflect to you what you want to hear.
That's what I was thinking. Sorry,
and I played with that. Which was which was interesting to me because it actually reflected what I would say to a client back to me, because that's what I've programmed it to do.
Yeah.
Right. But if you haven't programmed it to, like, I'm a tough nut with AI. I'm like, that's not right. No, this is not true. No, yes, that is this. Like, I've given it all that. So it knows how I perceive the world. So it's going to give that back to me. But if you are using a free version, if you are not being really like a therapist, like a coach would be to yourself, right? Where you're saying, well, what else could this be? Well, what is the pattern? Well, what is the belief here? It might not give you truth. I actually had a friend tell me the other day that she met a person at a fire who had created his own therapist chat, who then was predicting where he would meet the love of his life. And so there's some real like distortions that can happen with it. And it's a calling for us to be so deeply connected to self and discerning.
Discerning. That's what keeps dropping in for me all the time, is discernment. Because if you're having a conversation like that, that's why I kind of gasped when you said people were putting text in. To me, that feels like a boundary crossing, even though AI isn't a person. I'm like, oh, that feels like really gross to me. And then your AI system, whatever you're using, is biased because it's your voice. It's got all your stuff. It's got all your, so it's gonna tell you what you want to hear, basically.
And I'll tell you, I was kind of annoyed at its response to me because I'm like, oh, this is what I do with my clients. I don't, because I wanted something to like, I wanted to feel good about this thing that I was putting in. And it was like, it wasn't doing that. And which I found really fascinating. I'm like, oh, because that's how I'm actually communicating to it, is I'm bringing it to a bigger perspective of what's going on. So yeah.
Okay, so this has been like, I could talk to you for hours, as you know, but I'm not Tim Ferriss or Joe Rogan, so we're not going to have a 3-hour episode. But I would love to know from you, like, if somebody's kind of on the fence about AI, or if they've just been using it, I say they're calling it in, they're just, popping something in, where would you have them start? Like, what's a really good first step for using AI effectively in their business specifically?
I would start by putting some of your like website copy into it and then asking it what it sees and what it sees in what you do, and start and like really feel, is that actually true? What it's reflecting back to you, is it actually true what it's saying? So every time, like when you're starting, really run it through your own system, and is it like, and be really like boss it around. I don't think that's real. Maybe that's true. And then I would, if you're using it to write copy, I would put in your, like your skeleton of what you want, and then really ask yourself, is this how I actually write? Is this how I actually write? And I have, and then be patient with it. Be patient that you're not going to get these, like, it takes time.
Yeah.
It's not a fix all. It's not something that, like, because that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, it's just going to do everything for me. No, it
Not
doesn't.
even close. Yeah.
And so really, like, create some patience and understand that what you're learning here is a program that's going to help you. It's like hiring a VA or something. You could use it in that way. So I don't know if that really answers. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I really like how, so when Juliana said systems there, she was referring to her body system. So
Yes.
I love how you're saying to put your humanity into it in a different way than other guests on this series have done. You're saying use your body. Use your body and your awareness to say, does this feel right? Does this sound like me? Is this the way you said it? Is this the way I write? But I would also say, is this the way I speak? Because really we should write the way that we speak. And I think that a lot of people, they put on a writing voice or a social media voice, and they don't actually speak to people the way that they would speak to them in real life. So you're saying, bring your body into it. Make it a somatic relationship that you have with this, whatever AI is, tool.
And I just want to share one more thing. The most true thing about AI that I ever heard that felt true in my own system was from this woman. Her name is Dr. Courtney Hunt. And she said, AI is happening no matter what. We can also program AI. It's actually really important for people like us to actually put in this more heart-based thought forms and perspectives on the world. And that really landed in my body. I was like, it felt very true. Because as we said at the beginning, like this thing is happening no matter what.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something about that just that spoke to some real truth for me, that I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And I just had to look this up this morning. I was looking at it. I have hope, determination. So, and my dad said to me, I remember my dad saying this to me when I was like 9 or 10. He was like, you are such an idealist. And that is me. Like, I don't see, like, I see things that I see the good that could come out of things most of the time. I also have the 1858. So there's a conundrum that happens there. But I do generally, I'm like, like maybe this could work well. Like maybe it's all okay. And other people think on the it's the end of the world and the Matrix is happening and Terminator is happening and all of this stuff. And I love A Course in Miracles. And when I was sitting with my coffee this morning before we jumped on the call, the opening line to A Course in Miracles is, nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. And herein lies the peace of God. And so it's like, well, if it's not real, like it, and it's not a spiritual bypassing thing. It's like, can we connect to God, higher consciousness, spirit, creator, whatever your name is for this, while we're engaging with this, so that we stay connected to our creativity, we stay connected to our wombs, we stay connected to our bodies, our hearts. We know what feels right for us and what doesn't. And we can be discerning with this tool that we have. It's like a rifle can be something that kills someone, or it can provide you food. Like, can we use our own discernment and not give up our power to that, or our connection to creator, which we all hold inside of us.
So good. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm thinking, if there is a world takeover by some, like, God, who knows? The thing we're all the most, I don't walk around afraid of it, but in the back of our minds sometimes.
Totally.
And I think, imagine how surprised they will be when all of us show up as heart-centered entrepreneurs and program this thing to just be love and healing and all of that we want in the world. Won't we just flip it on their heads? We could.
We could. I mean, I believe it. I mean, that's kind of what Star Trek: The Next Generation was. You had the Borg, which was transhumanism. And then you had the Federation of the whatever it was called. And it was all about, like, Data was an AI that was there to help. And they had the ship's computer that helped. And, so I grew up watching that. So.
I never saw it. People talk about it and they're like, you haven't seen it?
Yeah. And it's very, I don't know. That's how I perceive it. Whether that's right or wrong, who knows? Yeah. That's a big part of it too, is it's like, can we also be in a bit of a playful place with this, and knowing that we're not going to be like, we're not going to know.
Yeah.
It's here.
We're never going to know. Yeah.
We're never going to know. And so can we drop back into our discernment around it and not give our power away, basically. Right?
Well, thank you for the conversation, and thank you for sharing that perspective on it. I feel like this was a really juicy conversation for our listeners to be able to probably listen to more than once, to really go through, and to be able to be in power and in relationship with yourself as you are using this tool in your life or your business.
Thank you, Vickie. I always love coming on Unjaded. So thanks for having me.